All right, guys. Hello. So we are live right now. Today we have a really awesome broadcast that we're going to do. I'm going to wait for some people to jump in, join us on the live. Sometimes I know Facebook and YouTube, everyone got to get their notifications first before we just hop on and start adding people. So my name is LaShawn Jenkins with the Notary Institution. I coach and mentor notary signing agents. Today's topic, we're going to go over exactly how to earn money in the attorney states as a notary. The attorneys, state notaries, they face a lot of different challenges. We're only going to cover the people that's in the state of Georgia, but I'm sure some of these concepts and some of these skills that we have here will apply. We actually going to bring on Samantha. She is actually with She Listens. I want to bring her onto the camera so she can introduce herself and tell you all about what we have today. There we go. Hello, Samantha.
Hi, Ms. LaShawn. Thank you for having me. Well, to
Okay.
all our viewers, my name is Samantha Smith, and I am the owner of She Listens Notary and Business Services. I am a Bullock County, Georgia commissioned notary, and I have been in business now for about a year, but this is my second 4-year notary commission. I had the awesome opportunity to connect with Miss LaShawn as we started kind of talking about some of the challenges that notaries in attorney states, particularly Georgia, were facing. And so we came up with the idea just to be able to share a few things with those who are also in attorney states, but who may also are just looking for some additional resources where they are able to generate an income and not feel maybe all of the pressure that's behind the attorney state rule.
All right, cool, cool, cool. So I know you have some awesome information that you would like to cover. I'm excited actually to tell you because I really wanted to put this information out to everyone in the attorney state, and I don't want people to feel discouraged because they're in their attorney state. I want people to know that they can have a business just like everyone else, and there might be a few obstacles that you have to go through, but you could still have the business and you could still make money.
Again, thank you, LaShawn, for this
No
opportunity.
problem.
So one of the things, as far as my business, again, I am located in Bullock County, Georgia. And the first thing I learned about when I got my commission was that we were an attorney state. So I guess the first thing I want to cover is exactly what is an attorney state. And for those who are in some of the neighboring states, we know that attorney state means that they are the ones responsible for real estate closings. Now, when you talk to other notaries from other states, they are actually able to go in and assist with those real estate closings. But for the state of Georgia, we are not allowed, and other attorney states, we are not allowed to do that. Attorneys have to be the ones facilitating it. They have to be present, and they're the ones usually that secure and contract the notary for their loan closings, which sometimes again can present a little bit of an issue as it relates to the amount of money that we might be able to generate when it comes to our businesses. So the first thing I definitely wanted to talk about outside of just the definition of the attorney states are just some things that I came up with, a quick acronym to help notaries remember some of the processes as far as it concerns them going out and being able to make some additional monies. So if you have a pen and paper or you're able to take a few notes, I believe Ms. LaShawn is going to provide some of this information in our chat. So if you go to the chat, it'll be there as well. But the first thing I want you to remember is this is the She Listens SPARKS, SPARK, SPARKS. And SPARKS is an acronym that helps you to remember some of the steps. So S for SPARKS stands for strategy. What exactly is the strategy for making extra money in an attorney state? For some, it is just that. This is a side hustle. They're trying to make a quick few dollars to increase their income. They want to have a second stream of income. And then for some, they are turning it into a full-fledged business, kind of like I did. So my strategy was to build the business, not necessarily just to make a quick buck, but I wanted to build a substantial business based off some of the examples that I had seen and I'd been following within the notary community. So as you move forward, remember, S in SPARK is set your strategy. Have a solid strategy down for exactly what it is that you want to be doing. Okay. Next, P. The P in SPARK stands for prepare. Now, no matter what attorney state you are located in, you have to prepare. And a part of that preparation is making sure that you are connected with your state's clerk's office. Now, for Georgia, it's the Georgia Superior Court Clerks Cooperative Authority. And through our organization, through our entity in Atlanta, we are able to do a number of things. The first thing I always tell individuals, no matter what state you are in, and again, this is for the state of Georgia, please go in and purchase your state handbook. This becomes your Bible. This literally goes everywhere with you. Read it from cover to cover, make notes, and then if you have to, contact your local state office to find out or to get more information about things in here that you don't understand. Now, please note, one of the caveats for getting your notary commission is that the notary is responsible for knowing and understanding all of the laws that apply to their notarial office within the state, whether it's Georgia or another attorney state. So please make sure that you are connected with your state office so that you can understand the laws that apply to your state. Another thing, yes,
I wanted to add something in there, Samantha. So that handbook, a handbook applies to all states. I always encourage every notary signing agent that I know, or even if you're not doing the signing work, to always at least get the handbook for your state. Because like I said, when people are teaching, there can be a lot of misinformation because we're all in different states. I'm in the state of Texas. She's in the state of Georgia. The things that I can do in my state is some things that she cannot do. So I always encourage all my students, it doesn't matter how many loan signing trainings that you actually take, you always want to make sure that you have that foundation. And the foundation is your notary law handbook. Every state has some type of handbook for a law. State of Texas, you can normally actually even get it on the Secretary of State website where they have some type of law or handbook there that you can use as a guide to help you to make sure that you're not doing anything illegal and that you're able to do certain things. That's all why I wanted to add it about that. So you can go ahead, Samantha.
Okay. Another part of the prepare phase in the ShelistenS SPARK is to see if your state offers any training. So for the state of Georgia, there is a free, not mandatory, online training that is available that you can take to just increase your knowledge of the office of the notary. That, in addition to your handbook, will provide you a good foundation. You won't learn it all, but you'll get a good foundation as to what you need to do to move forward as you strategize how you want to make some more money in an attorney state. Now, again, it is up to the notary to find out everything that they need to know to be abreast of the laws, to keep up with what they can do and what they cannot do with their notarial commission in their state. I wanted to just go over to the questions and make sure that we weren't missing anything.
We have a few questions. I can put them on the screen for you.
Okay.
I can put them on the screen. So,
okay.
So we have Candy. Now, no, I'm saying that right. She says, "Is this the one the same as the GA Notary Primer Handbook from the NNA?"
Candy, thank you for being here today. I don't believe so. This book here is ordered straight from the clerk's office. I provided the link for Ms. LaShawn to share where you can order this book. This book was only $10, I believe, when I purchased it last year. And this is the latest edition. The items through the NNA, I believe, are separate, but I know I ordered this directly from the state office.
All right, I provided that link for Candy.
Okay.
I believe you did answer this question, but
Okay.
it was no problem with answering because some
Yeah.
people joined in late. So we have Anel. She said, "I'm sorry, just logged in. What is an attorney state?"
Okay. Well, basically, Miss Anel, I hope we're pronouncing this right. An attorney state is where, during real estate transactions, they have to be facilitated, directed, and overseen by an attorney. I'll get into some of the state stuff in particular and more specific a little bit into the presentation. But if you look up information about your state bar association, that's the association that's tied to all the lawyers in your state. There are usually very specific directives about individuals who participate in unlicensed law practice. And when notaries and attorney states engage in loan closings, then that puts us in the realm of unlicensed law practice, and that can get us in trouble and also damage or harm our commission.
Okay, and then we have one more question. So this is Arkansas an attorney state?
You know what? I apologize, Miss Alexander. Excuse me, Ms. Alexander. I am not sure about Arkansas specifically, but if you contact your state notary division, they'll be able to tell you more specifically, or maybe someone in the chat will be able to answer that. Again, I'm only really familiar with Georgia as an attorney state, and I want to believe one of the Carolinas is an attorney state. But if you contact your state division, notary division, they'll be able to let you know, confirm if you are in fact an attorney state.
Arkansas is not an attorney state. It's not on that list. No.
Okay.
But we have to answer the question for everyone else. So you can go into prepare. So now you hear your next acronym: approach new opportunities.
Yes, so now we're really getting into some of the meat and potatoes of where you can start generating additional income, and that is the A of the ShelistenS SPARK, and that is approaching new opportunities. So one of the new opportunities that I approached about a year ago was a huge game changer, one of the huge game changers for my business. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with the Society of Field Inspectors. That is an organization in Florida that created a database where notaries and just random individuals can sign up, and they're able to get calls about specific assignments within their area. So I was able to provide some of the contact information there, and the organizer, Mr. His name is escaping me right now. What's that?
Richard Law.
Mr. Law, yes. Mr. Law provided his direct contact information if you have any questions. But SOFI, the Society of Field Inspectors, allowed me to be able to go out and perform very specific activities contracted through local and really nationwide companies, where I go and I complete assignments for them as simple as taking pictures of businesses, verifying identities, actually been going out and doing site verifications for their records. Now, one of the great things about SOFI is the fact that no licensure is required. So you don't need any special licensing outside of what you already bring to the table. And some of those assignments don't even require you being a notary. Now, there's some that they ask you if you are a notary in the application process, but it doesn't require that you are a notary. Another positive of that is there are no limitations, meaning if they have an assignment in an area in Alabama, you can go there. Now, mind you, if you're crossing state lines, you can't use your notary stamp there. But if there's an assignment through SOFI that you can participate in, you can participate in that and complete that for compensation. So there are no limitations in participating with SOFI. just remember in general, the more that you can do, the more services that you can add to your menu of services in your notary business, the more marketable you are. And so SOFI provides that opportunity to be able to add those services to what you already do as a notary and to be able to better serve your community in your area.
Okay.
Make sure.
I have a question, Samantha.
Mm-hmm.
So, everyone go ask this question. You just talked about the field inspector. So a lot of people want to know, how much can they make off for this one service?
Gotcha.
That's
Well,
what
again,
people want to know.
that's fine. Again, one of the great things about the Society of Field Inspectors is that it's a place where multiple businesses go. So get contracted by them. You need to be in their database, but you can make as little as $50 per assignment, depending on where it is and what they're asking you to do. And you can make as much as $185 to $200 for an assignment, again, depending on where it is and what they're asking you to do. Now, mind you, there will be an application process for each organization that reaches out to you wanting particular services. So you may have to fill out an application, send them your W-9 so that they can process a payment for you, which most times is by check, paper check, or electronic check. But the possibilities are endless. Now, even though it might be a much smaller pocket of money, let's say you get an assignment that's like $45. Well, if you're the only person in your maybe a limited area that's doing those particular assignments, then guess what? They're going to always call you. So you get repeat business that way. You're getting a chance to meet new people in your area, because just through my experience with SOFI and my field inspector opportunities, I met quite a few people who will call me later and say, hey, weren't you the inspector that came out? Don't you have your notary? And so that's another opportunity just to broaden your reach as it relates to being able to increase your income potential.
Of course. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're on the R in Spark.
Yes. So the R in Spark stands for read, reach out, and in some cases, reconnect. I don't know how many notaries jumped into the notary business or the notary field and just started winging it. That is super dangerous, and it's something that I would not recommend anyone do. The first thing you need to be doing is reading your handbook. Again, each state makes it a requirement that it is up to the individual notary to know the laws specific to their state. They won't apply, and that's why I'm being very careful to not just talk about Georgia, but just in general. You have to know the laws of your state, which means you're going to have to do a whole lot of reading. The first thing I always recommend is reading your state handbook. The next thing I would recommend, and I think I mentioned this to a question earlier, read your state bar information. So I had a chance to read the state bar information. Again, that's tied to the lawyers in your state. And one of the main questions that comes up for Georgia notaries, I cannot speak for any other state, but for Georgia notaries, it always comes up. Why can't we do loan signings? Why can't we participate in loan signings? And so many people have so many different vantage points about this. Some people have figured out a way to do it, but I've included the link for Ms. LaShawn to post the specific law that says that notaries cannot include that as something that they're able to do as far as loan signings and closings without an attorney. It has to be an attorney specific, attorney facilitated activity. If you work for an attorney, that's one thing, but it's not something that we can do. It's also located in our Georgia handbook, and it specifically says that we cannot perform the duties of a notary signing agent or loan signing agent or anything of that nature. So again, if you are in an attorney state, please read your state, not only your state handbook, but your state bar laws as it relates to those acts of service being completed that are done by someone who is not specifically a lawyer, licensed to be a lawyer. That's unlicensed practices of law is what I think it's called. So make sure, again, read, read, read. That's the first part of the R. The next part of the R, as far as read, is to make sure that you are investing in things to read, invest in very good resources. So I can only share what I have used. Again, my outside of my notebook, my handbook, which is my Bible, this is something else that I read. And I read and I read and I pick it up and I read it again. I have it color coded on the inside. Sign and Thrive Notary book that was written by Mr. Bill Soroka. He's the founder of the Notary Coach. I included the link for this book on Amazon, but I would recommend this to any new or seasoned notary. Not only does it provide good tips and good ideas, but it also just it gives you an idea of what the potential is. Okay. I have not heard of anyone who has read this book and decided that this is not what they wanted to do, whether it be just for a side hustle or it be a full-fledged business. So again, Ms. LaShawn will provide that link for everyone to be able to get that resource. And again, reading is going to be the biggest part of what you're going to do as a notary to make sure you have complete understanding. And the last thing that I keep near me to read is this new book. So I had a chance to engage with Mr. Tiger Toledo on Instagram. And this is a book he wrote about being able to market yourself as a notary. There are some really good things in this book to keep in mind on ways that you can diversify your services and also kind of rebrand yourself as you maybe get the notary signing part under your belt. I would recommend that you grab this book for yourself and just read through some of the marketing ideas and strategies that he has in place for notaries and notary signing agents. So again, that's the read portion. So you have read, reach out, and then reconnect. Who have you reached out to in your immediate community about potential service opportunities? So for me here, again, in Georgia, one of the things that I'm learning is that a lot of our local offices, due to the COVID pandemic, if they used to provide notary services, they're suspending those services. So one thing that you as a notary can do is reach out to your local agencies. Our local probate court has decided to suspend those services. Some banks are deciding to suspend those services. Reach out to them and ask if you can leave your card there as an immediate referral so that you can gain that business for yourself. Also, reach out to your local school system. I shared with a group of notaries recently about an opportunity here in Georgia, again, but it may be in other states, where it specifically talks about the kinship caregiver programs that are within the school systems. Those documents need to be notarized. So if you have a pool of elderly or senior citizen grandparents that are raising children, and maybe they can't get out, they can't get their documents notarized, go to your local school system and see if you can become the notary of record to be able to serve those individuals and possibly have that school system compensate you for being the notary for that particular activity.
Okay, so Samantha, I got two things I want to go over real quick. Laura, I'm not going to really say her last name because I feel like I'm just going to mess that up. So we're going to go with Laura. She was able to tell us the attorney states. I'm going to go pull it up on the screen for you.
Okay.
So here are the attorney states for everyone who's asking. I know someone had just asked. So I believe that's Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Massachusetts, South Carolina, Vermont, and West Virginia are
Thank you,
attorney
Ms.
states.
Laura.
South Dakota doesn't stipulate, but practice is using attorney. Oh, okay, I understand it now. And then thank you, Laura, for that information. That was
Yes, thank
awesome
you.
information. We appreciate it. And then Hopeful has a comment to say. So she says, also, again, I'm in South Carolina. An attorney will hire me to go in their place to collect signatures, and let me know to call if I have any questions. So,
Mhm.
what? I'm not there in the attorney state, so I don't. What is? You help us, dissect this and what she's saying.
No, what she's basically saying that she's hired specifically by a lawyer to go and facilitate those closings, which is the way it's supposed to be. And that lawyer is choosing to be present by being accessible by telephone. But he still hired her to go and participate. I could
Okay.
not just walk up off the street and say, "Hey, I want to be the notary that participates in this closing," and it is through my business as opposed to being through the attorney's office.
Okay. So now we're gonna get into your last one. So here we have someone in the comments. This is perfect. She said, "Good morning. I live in South Carolina and I have been researching NNA for a minute now, but I am afraid to sign up because South Carolina is an attorney state. Seems like you can only make good money being a signing agent." And this goes right into the last one on Spark.
Yes. So one of the biggest things about looking at other ways to make money in an attorney state is you have got to keep going. That's the K in Spark. It's very simple. Um, Again, once I came in, that's all that I heard was everything that I could not do. And so
Mm,
I want to encourage you to not focus, know what you can't do, but then now let's start to double back and look at what we can do. I would
shift your
recommend.
energy.
Mhm. I
I
would
said shift your
recommend
energy.
signing up with the NNA. I'm personally also with the NNA, even though I'm in an attorney state, not just for signing opportunities, but really for the knowledge, for the networking, for the resources. As information becomes available, they get it out to you. They have the hotline that you're able to call to ask questions that'll be state specific. So I believe that the NNA affiliation is a great one. Keep going would also include to make sure that you are connected with some type of training platform. So I just happen to, again, I'm so fortunate to be able to have connected with Miss LaShawn and the Notary Institution, but there are so many others out there that are available. I mentioned Bill Soroka earlier. He is the founder of the Notary Coach. I believe Miss Laura Buer is on today, and she's with Laura Buer Presents. Notary to Pro is another one, and I don't want to mix up the names of the founders of those institutions. I want to say Miss Carol Ray is with Notary Pro, and if I'm wrong, please
Mhm.
put it in the chat so that we'll have the correct information. But I would definitely encourage you to connect with a solid training platform, and there are others. Mr. Andre Hatchett is also doing training, so connect with that to help you keep going, because you'll meet a notary that will give you some information, that'll give you that nugget that will help you take your business a step further. Also look at, again, your local surroundings. Begin to promote yourself, like I said, at the school systems, with your local banks. Go and meet with real estate attorneys so that they know that you're available. What if they have a notary that's out that day? They'll be able to call you to provide those services. But don't go in trying to provide services that you are not fully trained on how to provide, which is why training is so absolutely critical when it comes to moving forward in this business. So again, Kate, just keep going. Make sure you're connecting with local notaries again, and also being knowledgeable on what your state laws are with regards to any limitations that a notary might have in your area.
Okay, so we have some. Do we have any questions? Well, we have like some really positive comments here, so I can go through. And so Trey, I think that's Trey. He said, "Don't forget, but about mobile fingerprinting.
Mhm.
With mobile fingerprinting, that is a good service to add. You do again. you always have to check with your state laws to see what you can do and if you're allowed to do it. Here in the state of Texas with the fingerprinting, they have a company that runs that whole entire business. So you have to qualify for that. You have to have like a standing still business and stuff. You always want to make sure that your state that you can do that. But that is another alternative. Trey Wilson also put apostille
Yes.
services, alternative ways to make money. Um, let me say Laura Buer, right? What she said
Mm-hmm.
has a
Mm-hmm.
uh, I love general notary work, and it's funny.
Yes.
A lot of notary signing agents, to be honest, they don't want to do general notary work because everyone is wild, by the fact of I can make $150 per closing. I don't need
Yes.
you guys to do no general notary work.
No.
You can make $100 or you can make $200 sometimes in just general notary work. Probably more than that, just depending on the assignment and where you're
Mhm.
traveling. But guys, do not sleep on the general notary work.
No.
It is definitely a service that you need. It's not. You should never just do loan closings. Because the goal is to have income. You know what I'm saying? We want to generate as much income as possible with as many services as possible that you can
Mhm.
handle.
Oh, and we
Um,
also want to make sure that no matter what level of service, whether it's general notary work or something connected to the loan closings, it is very important to make sure that you're connecting and building those relationships because they're going to be the ones that refer you out to someone else just because of the experience that they had with you. So make sure while you are building your empire and generating your income that you are definitely making those solid relationships.
Okay, I'm gonna go through a few more. So here's Candy. Do you know any local notary network organizations or meetups? To be honest, sometimes the notary community it'd be a little tight knit, to be honest with you. But a lot of times, if you join the Facebook groups, some people have started like different notary meetups and stuff. But to be honest, the best way for that I network is I just reach out to notaries. I'll call notaries on the phone, and whoever wants to network and really pass on clients,
Mhm.
that's who I want to work with. I don't work with the people who don't want to help because at the end of the day we all need each other, and it's never a one man show with the notary work. um you can't take on every single assignment because you can't be everywhere at every single
Mhm.
time. So I'm all for networking. I'm all for knowing notaries, passing on clients, and I don't want nothing in return when I do that. Because at the end of the day, I feel like everyone eat. There's enough out there. And then someone else asks, Miss
Can I
Gavelful,
can I answer? Can I say something to Miss Candy as well?
go for it. Yes.
Miss Candy, I believe you and I are in the same area, and so one of my goals is to create a Southeast Regional Notary Advisory network or board because there are times that we are like Miss LaShawn said, I can't get to that person, but I can reach over and send them to you if you are available. I am fortunate to have a solid notary person that's in my network, that's in my circle that I can call and say, hey, do you have time tomorrow to do a notary appointment? And again, it's not about giving away business or not sharing the information. One of the things I love about the Notary Coach platform is the fact that he is big on making those connections. He preaches the whole notion of making sure that you reach out to be able to share when you can't service anyone, because the whole point is to service the customer. So I can definitely connect with you, Miss Candy, and kind of give you my ideas on creating and developing a Southeast Regional Notary group. So I look forward to talking to you.
All right, so guys, we're going to keep this video short, but we're going to go to the last two. So here is Ms. Gabelful. She said, what are your suggestions for finding a notary mentor? My suggestion is you find somebody that you can actually that you can relate to and that you feel comfortable with. That's what I tell everybody. Like earlier when we discussed, there is a lot of mentors out here. There's a lot of people who have courses. There's two people on here on the chat right now. They have their own platform. They have their own courses. But at the end of the day, you have to choose somebody that you feel like you can resonate with. And if you can't resonate with a person, then you don't need to be on that platform. Um, Let me see. It was something else someone had said too.
Miss Hopeful, I see her post about maybe not getting the feedback back in return from area notaries in her region in South Carolina. I can only say this. I'm a living witness. What
Oh,
you
right
are
here.
looking at now, Miss Hopeful, is literally cross-state collaborations between me and Miss LaShawn. We connected. She's in Texas. I'm in Georgia. I've never seen her a day in my life. But the connection has been solid because our purposes, like Ms. LaShawn said, are the same. The same with the notary groups that I'm a part of through the Sign and Thrive community that have been super, super helpful. If there's a way that you all could leave some contact information, we can share those groups and those platforms with you if you are interested. So that way you don't feel like you're all alone wherever you might be located in the United States. I think just social media has made it so easy for us to be able to connect. And while it's unfortunate that you can't do a lot more of that locally, it's possible that you can do it everywhere. One of my most favorite things that I have learned or gained from this, and I believe it was an Andre Hatchett quote that I read out of Tiger Toledo's book, was to not think about your notary business as something local or regional, but think about it as something global, because we can definitely connect as notaries on a global level.
Of course. And then Samantha, you was awesome. You had amazing information. So this is the last question. Everybody want to know: do you have your own training program, or do you mentor notary signing agents?
Somebody asked me that.
Yeah, we want to know what's going on, Samantha. We want to know.
I actually would like to. I would like to, especially in Southeast Georgia. There are a lot of notaries here. There are a lot of notaries that have a stamp that don't do anything with it. And I have to admit, my first commission, I didn't do anything with my notary stamp because I didn't realize the power of the office. Well, I won't say power, the importance of the office. And then once I learned more about it, and then saw how many other people actually had their notary stamps in my area, I think it's very important that we come together and provide some type of training, whether it is virtual. Hopefully, we'll get to a place in our nation or in our state where we can come back together face to face. But I would love to connect with anyone virtually or by phone. Connect with me on Facebook at She Listens Notary and Business Services. I welcome the opportunity to chat with any of you, and also on Instagram at SheListens_mobile notary.
All right, awesome. So, thank you. If anybody would like to reach out to either me or Samantha just gave her contact information. I'm LaShawn Jenkins with the Notary Institution. A lot of my students are actually on right now watching. But you can always reach out to me, whether it's in the comments. I normally reply. Facebook is probably the best way, the Notary Institution, because those notifications come straight to my phone, and I'm handling all inquiries. So any questions is pretty much me responding to you. I'm very open. And to be honest, I just want to help people, and I want everyone to start their business. I want people not being scared and start because there's money to be made out here. And like Samantha said earlier, sometimes we focus on everything that we cannot do. We need to focus on, on the things that we can do so that you can see the results that you would like to see. That is actually all I have for today. Guys, this video actually will be up today. It will take about 45 minutes maybe for it to load, but it will be on the Facebook page immediately. Thank you guys for tuning in. That is all me and Samantha have today.
That's it.
And y'all have an awesome day.
Thank y'all for joining us today.
Bye-bye.